Good morning, everybody. So more recently, we've been looking at a couple of publications. More recently, First Home by Zomatongwa Khumalo. This is a great book and a great resource for new home buyers. You can watch a previous interview with the author, but looking at that book. And then myself, I have just purchased another property myself. And I was looking at some of the insurance aspects and thinking, I must do a little video clip for owners that are buying for the first time. I've also done a little blog article summarizing it. So here we go. Just a couple of tips when a new buyer, particularly, or an owner, it's applicable to all owners, but particularly new owners who are buying into a sectional title environment for some of the insurance things to look at. Nobody tells you when you're a new buyer what you should be looking at first in terms of insurance. You've got all this new stuff to learn, and so you start just floundering around learning. I understand. So a good starting point, as I said, is this book. But not only this book, but also Marina and Karen's book, Demystifying Sectional Title. And we've also got a video on this one. So please, go and have a look at these two as starting points. Then I'm just going to go through 8 points that I've identified. There are more, of course. There's so much to talk about. I can go into depth about scheduled replacement values, but we've got plenty of resources on that. So I'm just going to go through 8 points. So first of all, when you're a new owner or an owner, just understand that you need to look at two aspects. You look at your buildings and then the contents of your buildings, two separate policies. They can all both be on one policy if you're in a house or a normal household environment. So you've bought separate title. So you would have probably one policy. And on that policy, you would have your building section, which covers all your buildings, your roof and your structure and your house and any improvements on it. And then you have a content section, which covers all of the stuff that's inside the house. So in the sectional title environment, the difference is the body corporate takes care of the buildings. Okay, and you take care of your contents. So you go and speak to your own broker about the contents, and just be careful that you tell your broker, your own personal broker, that is, that the buildings are already covered under the sectional title policy. I would even give him a copy so that he advises you in the context of the policy that the sectional title has. Okay, so then, so just understand that as a first starting point. Then verify the insurance. Okay, and I picked that up because now the first thing I did, of course, when I bought my place was to verify the insurance. And the bank or the bondholder is going to want that verified anyway. So you get a copy of the policy. You can just go through the schedule and just make sure that there's nothing onerous because you don't know. You're just buying into it. You don't know there might have been some issue that the insurance company have now endorsed the policy. So you just have a look at it and make sure that it's all correct. And then you verify that according to the schedule of replacement values, which is the schedule which is set out in the Act. I'm not going to go into that, but just ask for the schedule. So ask for the schedule and ask for the policy schedule, and then just make sure that the amount stated for your section includes the common property and becomes your unit total, and that's enough or sufficient for your bank and for you. Okay, now remember, one of the things that you tend to do, and I'm going to cover that in a further point, is you tend to do improvements when you move in. You want a new this and a new that. So you need to make sure that that figure is adequate. Then ask and check, because this sometimes is not done, and as a new owner, ask for a copy of the latest valuation that was done, the formal valuation that was done, because a sectional title or a body corporate needs to do a valuation at least every 3 years. And if you've got that in your hand, you can actually give it to your bank. The bank is usually quite pleased if they can see that, or they can have a quick squiz and see what the condition of the building is, particularly the bank's valuer. Okay, then the item that I was alluding to just now is consider the additional sums. So if you're going to enhance your section, a new homeowner usually does something. You come into this house, you don't like the color of the carpet, so you change the carpets, or you might paint. You might even redo the kitchen or refit the kitchen to your requirements. You might want gas, or you might want solar or an inverter. So you do these additions. So consider all of the additional things, list them, and give them to the sectional title portfolio manager, or ask to speak to the broker and discuss it with the broker. The broker can then advise you on what you should do, what you should add, how you should deal with the schedule. The fifth item that we're going to deal with is fidelity and liability. So in sectional title insurance, there are three main areas of risk. I'm breaking them down. There's lots of areas, but the three, call it the subheadings of risk, would be your buildings cover, your fidelity, and your liability. I call those the big three, and you need to actually make sure that your scheme that you're buying into has dealt with those three correctly. So just ask to say, is fidelity and liability in place? And there's a booklet, the Sectional Title Insurance Guide, which you can go through and see what the body corporate really should be doing if you want to drill a little bit deeper. Then be aware of the excess structures, because now you might have a claim and then you might have an excess. So you might want to just make sure that if you're putting in, or you're deciding, or you haven't quite thought about it yet, to put in laminate flooring, you want to make sure that if you had a flood in your section, that there would be not an onerous excess that almost wasn't insured. So you just want to make sure that your insurance is adequate in terms of the excess. The scheme might have actually suffered from some extreme storms, so you also want to make sure that you are correctly or adequately insured in terms of storms, excesses, and so on. Okay, after the big storms in Johannesburg, some of the insurance companies are imposing much higher excesses on sections. One scheme that we're dealing with at the moment, it's going to be a minimum of 15,000 Rand per unit for the meanwhile. And then you're going to find that those owners might want to make or provide for that horrible event. They might want to buy insurance elsewhere, or they might put a little savings aside in case they have a problem. Okay. Everybody's got the luxury of having little rainy day funds, but some people would account for it. Okay. But just be aware of the excess structures. It could be onerous and you need to be aware of it. No surprises when you need to claim. Then number 7, the geyser insurance considerations. I consider this to be quite important. You might want to make sure that the geyser cover is adequate. You can go and do a bit of research, particularly on our website, and also on our YouTube channel. There's tremendous amount of geyser information. For example, me personally would not want any other geyser than a stainless steel geyser. In fact, I'd be tempted to change it. I am tempted to change it when I move into my new home. So that is something that I am considering. So there are different, I don't want to put down new laminate flooring and then 3 months later my geyser bursts and destroys everything I've just put in. So I like to have stainless steel that's going to last forever. That's the type of thinking I'm trying to encourage. And then lastly, ask. I always say ask, ask, ask. We call it ask for clarification as a header, but ask questions. You're a new owner. Don't hesitate to phone up the broker, whoever he might be or she might be. If it's me, please give me a ring. I enjoy taking the calls. We are insurance advisors. You are paying insurance, of which a chunk of it goes to your insurance advisor. And what does that mean? It means you can ask questions, find out things, and get advice dispensed to you. So you're not even taking advantage, you are actually making use of the facility for which you are paying for. Okay, and then so just consider these 8 points as a summary of what you should be doing. There are other things, as I said. Go and have a look at our video on the schedule of replacement values. That will be more insightful about additional sums. It will also explain the bank's position on the bonds, which I haven't gone to here, in order to keep this slim and trim and to our 8 points. But go and have a look at our schedule of replacement values. In fact, I'm actually going to spit it up here for you to click through to as a follow-on for this presentation. Okay, so please don't forget to like this video clip. By all means, share it, and of course, subscribe to our channel and keep notified. Click the bell as well. Thank you very much. Cheers. Thank you. See you again.